My name is Kevin McGew, and I'm one of the co-directors of the Head Smash and Buffalo Jump excavations. I'm a professor of archaeology at the University of Lethbridge in southern Alberta in Western Canada.
Hello, I am Dr. Sean Bubel. I am one of the co-directors of the field school here at Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump, and I'm a professor of archaeology at the University of Lethbridge. So our field school here at Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump is a multi-component field school where the students are engaged in a theoretical element where they're exploring different ways to look at the past, think about the theories applied to our interpretation of the past. And once we have those 2 weeks under our belt, we head off into the field where we focus on the practical elements of excavating, surveying, testing certain areas of the site. And so students get to do all of those things and more. And then after all of those 4 weeks of intense sort of field elements are finished, we head off into the lab and we do another week of processing, cleaning, cataloging all the remains that we have excavated over those 4 weeks.
Our project at Head Smash and Buffalo Jump is looking to understand the oldest uses of this site. We know that the jump has been used for 6,000 years, but we have hints of people here as long ago as 9,500 years ago, maybe even longer. And so we want to understand what those people were doing here and if they were using the jump in the way that later people used the jump.
So we are not the first to excavate here at Head Smash in Buffalo Jump. There have been other major projects that have focused, those projects have focused on the kill site specifically and areas of what we call the campsite and processing site, where the archaeologists explored the different hunting strategies, the kill deposits, selection of particular portions of the bison, and also then how they cooked and how they dried the meat, made pemmican, etc. We have a pretty good handle on those different activities, but what we don't have a good handle on is the earliest deposits at the site. We know based on those previous excavations that the site was used for at least 6,000, 6,500 years, all the way up to just past post-contact. But there is some evidence that people were here at least 8,000, 9,000, maybe even older, based on some out-of-context spear points that were found in 1949. So our research project focuses on those earlier deposits to try to understand what people were doing here 9,000, 8,000, and maybe even older. And so over these past field seasons, we've been able to reach those deposits. We found some very exciting finds that correlate these early levels, and we're hoping to then keep exploring these old deposits to really get a good understanding of what the people were doing here 9,000 and even older years ago.
Research question about the long-term use of a buffalo jump is best understood at this site because we have such a really great, robust record of use of this site from 9,500 years ago to the present. It's a site that's been in almost continuous use for that length of time, and so that evidence is just there for us to try to understand and work with. The past is profoundly important because of the way different people make meaning out of that past and why these histories become so important in terms of understanding ourselves today. I think at this particular site, Head Smash and Buffalo Jump, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is one of the most important sites for the Blackfoot people who live in this part of the world. This is a monument to their skills at food sovereignty, and by looking at Head Smash and Buffalo Jump and understanding it, we can understand really the impacts of settler colonialism and how this negatively impacted the Blackfoot people. This was one of the most complex food organization procurement systems attested in world history, and that was eventually ruptured through contact with Europeans. And so by spending taxpayer money, by spending other kinds of money to investigate this, we can better understand those traditions and help make amends for those the problems caused by settler colonialism and by European contact. In Canada, we're very concerned with truth and reconciliation, coming to terms with the kinds of harms that we've done to First Nations people. In Canada, that's the term we use as opposed to Native American. And so it's really, really important for us to be spending time working at a Blackfoot site with our Blackfoot collaborators who work at the Interpreter Centre to try to engage in public outreach and help the wider Canadian, North American, and global public better engage in truth and reconciliation.
If we take a Blackfoot perspective, and we are excavating a Blackfoot site, and you talk to the Blackfoot elders and the Blackfoot community collaborators, they'll say that the past is entwined in the present, which is entwined in the future. It's all a connection that they all share with their ancestors, and these sites for the Blackfoot community are still very much living sites, and they're tied to not only the more recent past where they have stories about their grandparents and their great-grandparents, but they're also tied to their ancestors who lived here millennia ago, and even as old as 10,000 years ago, or maybe even older. So for them, the past is very much part of who they are and how they view their world. And we can take a lesson from that perspective, because we are disconnected very often if we look at Western societies from that past, and the value of that past becomes lost if you don't continually engage in that past. So by bringing that past into the present and having the students engage in that activity to highlight these elements, it really creates strength in understanding who we are as people on this planet and how we move forward together as a collective global community.
If I had a magic wand to support our research here, I would want to create more time, because there is a near endless amount of things to discover and work with at the site. And our biggest problem on a day-by-day basis is trying to decide exactly which issues and which exciting discoveries we want to tackle. That's truly our biggest problem at Head Smashing Buffalo Jump.
I feel very lucky to be a part of this project, to be working with great collaborators, but also to be working together with the Indigenous community, the Blackfoot people who work at the Jump and who collaborate with us. It is such a privilege and an honor to be part of this team. So come and join us. You too, I think, will love both the hard days, but also the great days out here. And it's such a unique opportunity to be really engaging and becoming such a collaborative team together.
Come join us at our excavations at Head Smashing Buffalo Jump UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a great place to learn to dig if you love camping and you love the adventures of southern Alberta weather in the late spring, early summer. This is the field school for you.